So maybe you're considering moving all alone to Chiang Mai and you're wondering how to find community, how to make friends, then this video is going to be for you. If you're new here, hi, my name is Kat. I've been living in Chiang Mai since 2019, and in this channel, I share my life experiences with living in Chiang Mai long term in hopes that it helps anyone else who is looking to also move their life abroad to Thailand too. So I always see a lot of questions of, did you move to Thailand alone? How did you adjust being on your own and finding community and making friends and having a social life? And I think this part is often overlooked. You often see, these videos of people out at, making friends at hostels and going out to bars and doing all these things. But when you're living somewhere long term, it can sometimes be a little harder to find long term friendships versus someone who's just traveling and maybe they're a digital nomad just here for like a month or two at a time. And so, if you don't know already, Chiang Mai is a very transient city. So, there are constantly people coming and going. I've had friends who were here for like 2 years at a time, and then they left, and we had to say goodbye and move on. But that's something that you get used to living here. And that's not to say that everyone comes and goes. Like, I've had friends that have been here for 4 or 5 years, almost as long as me. And so, there are ways to find more long term friendships. But I will say in the beginning, it can be really difficult unless you put yourself out there outside of your comfort zone. For me, I work remotely from home. So in the beginning, it was a little challenging because I get so used to just being in my bubble. I've tried co working spaces. I didn't really like them. I feel like it reminded me of being in an office, which I didn't like. But honestly, I feel like in Chiang Mai, and I don't know if it's just Chiang Mai, but maybe it's just travelers in general or people who live abroad. I find that it's so much easier to strike up conversations with people. I've been at cafes multiple times or even at the gym, and I'll run into someone, or maybe they're another American, or yeah, we'll just strike up a conversation and it's not weird. Versus in the US, if someone goes up to you at a cafe, your initial thought is, what do you want from me? Or like, you're kind of weird. But here it's just so normal. And I think that's one way that you can meet people. I'm not saying that's the only way, but it does happen. And I think if you keep that in mind, it can kind of ease some of the pressure. But also, there's a lot of social events that are always going on. There's tons of different communities here. There's a hiking group. There's a trail running group. There's like a rock climbing group. If you're not into like active stuff or gym, there's also actually a CrossFit group, a bodybuilding community. Outside of that, they have book clubs, they have game nights that people host. And you'll find a lot of these in Facebook groups. That's where I find a lot of these events. There's a Facebook group for women called Chiang Mai Nomad Girls. There's another one, I think it's called Chiang Mai Expat and Locals. So there's always events and things going on. If you're not into that, there's a dance community, a Latin dance community here. There's aerial yoga. There's just so many different options. So if you have a hobby or things that you're interested in, maybe just learning or a new skill, I think that could also be a good opportunity to go out and find community that way. I started learning bachata about a year and a half ago, and so that's where I found my main community now, and a lot of the friends that I have who are actually here long term, surprisingly. But yeah, I think in the beginning it can be really difficult, especially when you're getting settled, unless you actually put yourself out there and are down to meet new people. I've also seen in Facebook groups where women are like, hey, I just moved to Chiang Mai. I plan to be here for X amount of time, maybe a year or two. I'm looking to meet long term friends. And you'd be surprised how many women are like, oh my God, me too. Like, do you want to go for a walk? Or I remember seeing someone post, like, I'm interested in, I don't know if it was karaoke night or something related to that. And all of the other girls were like, oh my God, I'm down to meet up. So they made a whole event for it. And so there are ways to meet people. But yeah, it just kind of depends on your preference. I mean, and it also, I think, depends on where you live. I live in an area where there are a lot of other expats and a lot of other foreigners. I mean, there's Thai as well, but even in my condo building, like I'm running into people all the time that I've seen, at cafes before, or I even have a friend who also is part of the Latin dance community that lives in my same building. And so there are other opportunities to do that. And I think, yeah, if you find things that you're interested in and hobbies and skills that you want to learn, maybe you want to learn a language, that can be a good opportunity too. When I first was living here, I was on education visas. And so I was taking Thai classes at the university. And through that, I met a lot of people. And so it is possible, but you do just have to keep in mind that Chiang Mai is a very transient place. I'm not saying it's impossible. Like I said, I have friends who have been here for 4, 5, 6 years, but it is very common to have people and that live here make really great friendships and connections with people, and then maybe after 2 years or maybe even after a year, they're ready to move on and travel somewhere else. But I will say there is a really strong expat community, even like families that are living abroad. There's kids events that they have for them. If like let's say you have a family and your child goes to an international school, there's also communities there as well, so international school parents. And so yeah, the possibilities are endless really, but it does take time. I mean, in the beginning it was, like I said, it was very difficult, but over time I was able to figure out my way and figure out a place that I really enjoyed spending time with people. I think my biggest tip, if you're wanting to find community, you're wanting to have a social life, you're wanting to make meaningful connections and friends, is to really kind of force yourself to get outside of your little bubble, which can be so easy for us to do sometimes, especially if you're working from home or remotely, for example. But yeah, there are ways to find long term friendships, but yeah, it just takes time. So before this video ends, I wanted to share that I'm providing one-on-one consultations. If you're interested in moving to Chiang Mai and maybe you're just overwhelmed with all of the information online and you just want some tips and personalized advice from someone who's been living here long term, if you want to email me, I can give you more information on that. So that's all I have for this video. I hope it was helpful. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.